Okay, let's get this show on the road. Thank you so much for joining us for the monthly ramp up presented to you by Franchise Ramp. My name is Nick Hansen, Director of Creative at Franchise Ramp, and I'm super excited for the latest edition of this webinar series that includes a mix of in the trenches knowledge and high level strategy, along with a featured interview with a franchisee. Today, we have Sarah Milios from CycleBar Flagstaff, and our awesome franchisee success manager, Beth Boley, will conduct the interview. You will also receive a marketing update from Franchise Ramp President Peter Hansen and a tactical tools discussion with Director of Paid Traffic, Kevin Moses. At the end of the session, there will be a brief Q&A. Thank you so much for attending today. The monthly ramp-up's goal is to give you a coherent picture of what's happening at the intersection of marketing and franchising. We want this to be a tight-knit community for franchisees to share knowledge and gain insight. Our mission at Franchise Ramp is to help franchisees realize their entrepreneurial dreams through targeted marketing strategies that maximize success for consumer-oriented franchises. We were tired of working with digital marketing agencies who didn't understand franchising or sales in general. So we took matters into our own hands, became Facebook experts, and added other digital marketing experts to our team. We are the new standard in franchise digital marketing and help clients obtain more quantity and higher quality leads. Please come back and join us again next month. Now, I would like to introduce Franchise Ramp President Peter Hansen.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the introduction, Nick. So welcome everyone on the call too. I think we got a good diverse mix of franchisees. It looks like we have about 22 on right now, and seeing in the chat we have some Yoga 6, Great Clips, some Club Pilates franchisees on here. If you haven't chatted, chat into the chat on Zoom here what your franchise brand is, locations, anything else that would sort of help us, because we like to tailor the presentation towards who we have on the call. So thank you very much for everyone joining. As Nick mentioned, I'm the president of Franchise Ramp. I'm also a fellow franchisee, and so I live in Minnesota with my wife and my 2 young children. I have a 1-year-old boy at home and a 3-year-old girl, and so life has been pretty hectic and crazy lately. And we own 5 Club Pilates studios as well. So I'm a fellow franchisee. So we own 5 Club Pilates studios. 3 are in Arizona, and 2 of them are in the Cincinnati, Ohio market. And we're actively looking to expand into additional locations in those areas and possibly additional brands in those areas as well. I got into franchising about 8-9 years ago, kind of lose track of time, as a Liberty Tax franchisee, spent 7-8 years there, and just exited about a year and a half ago from there, and to put all my time into Franchise Ramp, because I really love our mission of helping other entrepreneurs realize their entrepreneurial dreams, and for many of them that's financial freedom, which is a personal passion of mine. And so what I'm going to talk a little bit about today is just managing and planning for PPP loan forgiveness. And so I was really excited when I saw this come through, as I'm sure most franchisees were, because of the PPP, but also because in both of my markets in Arizona and Ohio, and I call them borderline markets because they haven't been super aggressive in shutdowns and the consumer sentiment, but they also haven't been completely wide open like we're seeing in some states or some markets. And so, anyways, in those borderline markets of Arizona and Ohio, we're seeing really a surge in demand due to the new year, but I also think it's a change in consumer sentiment due to COVID fatigue and really vaccine optimism. I talked to a number of franchisees across the country each week too, just as the my Franchise Ramp, and so a lot of them are seeing the same changes and the same surges, and so I'm cautiously optimistic about that. And about the PPP, just combined, really makes me feel optimistic about the year, particularly because business is really all about momentum. So it's time to really ride that first wave of momentum that we've had in the health and wellness industry. I think we have, like I said at the beginning, mainly fitness franchisees on, probably a weight loss franchisee from Profile, probably some Decalash of beauty, and I know Great Clips, same thing. More from a beauty wellness perspective. And so, all of these businesses have been significantly impacted by COVID. And so, if we can get a wave of momentum, I think that's huge to be able to ride that wave, because we've had a lot of waves coming against us. Let's ride a great big wave going into shore, whether it's the new year or the PPP opportunity that we have on the second draw. So I think it's about priming the pump. And so, we open our My Club Pilates studios 3 out of the 5 as set records for new members. And the phrase I used repeatedly over and over again with my marketing staff at the time and our sales reps was prime the pump, get your people, get yourself excited, get your people excited, get your customers excited about, this new coming Club Pilates. And we're trying to use that same mentality here as, hey, it's a new year. There's optimism out there across most of the country. And so we're really trying to prime that pump of excitement and get people back in the studio and get people back into the doors. And so that tone of excitement and enthusiasm is really ringing in all of our marketing, whether it's our Facebook ads, whether it's our emails, whether it's how we answer the phone at our studios, or how we're communicating to our members in the studio. Really all of those aspects, we're trying to instill that enthusiasm for being able to get into the studios and make 2021 the best year that people have had from their physical fitness perspective. And if your wave isn't here yet, if you're in a locality that's heavily restricted or shut down, that's okay. At some point you'll have that wave and you'll have all that pent up demand. And so, really right now it's time to get ready for that second wave. And so as I mentioned earlier, the icing on the top is that PPP second draw. And so it's time to put that money to build the assets of our business. And so that's the way I'm looking at that is yes, it's gonna make us maybe not necessarily whole, but it's gonna give us some runway that we might not have had before. But I'm also trying to look at it as how can I invest in the assets of my business? And so I break down assets into 3 categories. You have your human assets, or human capital assets, like your people, your employees. You have your prospect or member assets, so your members and your prospect list are an actual asset that could technically be sold. And then you have hard assets, so the store locations that you have. And so from a human asset perspective, what can I do with that PPP money? Can I spend, maybe an extra 2 hours training a sales rep or training an instructor on how to sell PT, private training, which could then lead to, thousands of dollars in additional revenue. And so I'm just trying to think of it, the human asset that way. Where can I invest training dollars that will lead to that will make that asset more valuable so that it throws off more cash and more revenue in the future. The other thing I'm looking at is, I'm really doing a deep dive on my leadership team. And so I'm looking through all of our location managers and saying, is this really the best person to lead us through this time? And if not, there's a huge displacement in the job market. Can I find someone for either the same price that will deliver 10 times the results, or maybe someone for 10% more expensive that's going to deliver 100x the results or 100 times the results? And so, really doing an analysis of my leadership teams to see, if there's any opportunity to hire more effective people and possibly more expensive, being able to use that PPP money. Prospect member assets, really hitting the marketing hard this time of year from a paid perspective, but also just from a free perspective. And so, I've taken a particular interest in our free activities, like our email lists and like our organic posting, and like, kind of beating the streets a little bit. It's a little bit hard in COVID to do that B2B marketing or that guerrilla marketing, but, we're trying to put a renewed emphasis on that as well. And so, that's where we're spending, a lot of our money right now. And then hard assets. Is there anything facelifts that we can do to improve the look and feel of the location? We're in a very premium concept, and so people want that premium feel. And after, our studios are 3, 4, 5 years old, sometimes they need a little bit of a facelift. And so can I spend, if it allows, can I spend, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 to really lift that studio, so that people feel like they're part of a premium place and are, going to stay with us longer and maybe buy more as well. So that's what we're looking at from how do we take that PPP money and look at it as investing in our assets and growing our business and making it stronger as we come out of this, or come into this wave of momentum. And so human assets, prospect or member assets, and your hard assets. And so that's all I have for today. On the last call, if you were on, I mentioned this analogy, and I'm a huge believer in it, so I'm going to say it again here. It's my lock analogy, my combination lock analogy. And so, average franchisees tend to get 4 out of 5 digits on the combination lock of success. And so, 4 out of 5 it seems really, really good, and it is really, really good, but that leads to average performance. Great franchisees get 5 out of 5, and so they're getting just 1 more digit on the lock, but they're getting 10 times the success. And so great franchisees become great franchisees by talking to other franchisees and finding that one missing idea that could unlock massive success for you. So, if you haven't talked to another successful franchisee recently, reach out. We have a great network of people, franchise ramp franchisees. I've really just, stress, get out and talk to other franchisees so that you can find that one idea that can really improve your success drastically. So thank you to everyone joining the call, and Nick, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you, Peter. Please don't hesitate to message us in the chat if you have any questions for Peter or for anyone who shares throughout the program. I would now like to introduce Director of Paid Traffic, Kevin Moses.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for that introduction. So hi, my name is Kevin Moses. I'm the head of paid traffic here at Franchise Ramp. My job is to stay current and up to date on the various changes, upgrades, and updates to the platforms that we advertise on. I've been doing some research on things that can maybe help our clients with their page on the organic side that will in turn help us on the paid advertising side as well. After lots of research and using the process of elimination, I've come up with a list of 7 organic Facebook hacks to give your paid traffic, your paid advertising a lift. I'm extremely excited to share this information, and I hope it brings value to you. So let's jump into it. Nick, you can go next slide. So first up is the utilization of long tail keywords in your description and your post. So make your page appear as relevant as possible to your audience, to what your audience is looking for. Just like in any other advertising strategy, you want your potential client to land on your page with the least amount of clicks as possible. You want your page to pop up in searches when the most relevant queries are searched. Get focused on what your customers search for and the words they use when searching, and then model your page and content after that. So take a step back and put yourselves in your potential customer's shoes. If you were looking for a business that does what you do, how would you search for it? What words would you string together? In what ways would you string them together? And you start to make your posts around those things, and also your page descriptions as well. Going after specific longer search terms not only help you rank, but it also ensures your audience is extremely focused. So the more relevant your page is to the content that is searched, the better Facebook will reward your rank. If people are easily finding your page and engaging with it, chances are Facebook will start to raise the rank. The more specific terms you pop up for, the less potential clicks that the client needs to make to get to what they need. So we'll take a look at the pictures to the left. So with each, I'm sorry, Nick, you can go back one more. So if you take a look at the 3 pictures on the side, this is kind of an example of the difference in the keywords that you use. So with each variation, I'm presenting with different results. So notice how each search, the keywords are highlighted. So for the first picture, it's simply the keyword is nutrition. So you see there's slightly random pages that pop up. And then the second picture below it gets a little bit more specific for vegetarian nutrition. So you start to see more relevant pages pop up with that. And then for the third picture, the very long tail keyword, vegetarian nutrition for athletes, you start to see very, very specific pages pop up. So obviously, the more specific you have in your descriptions and in your post, the more things you'll pop up for what people are specifically searching for. So you can go next slide, Nick. So for the second slide, this is one of the most easiest ways to optimize your page, is getting your post timing and frequency right. I know that probably everyone on this call has heard this before, but not a lot of people really dive into these metrics. So this is one of the most important optimizations in organic marketing. So when you post is just as important as what you post. So you can really post anything. Your content doesn't have to be extremely great all the time. Everyone doesn't have a high-end creative team. So you may not have the greatest content at all times, but if you post it at the right time, it could be just as effective as extremely produced content. So learn the lives of your audience. So again, like I discussed in the previous slide, take a deep dive into your target audience and learn their movements. Is it a fitness freak that works out at 5 a.m. and scrolls through their timeline earlier than everyone? Is it a professional that may work all morning and scroll through their timelines during their lunch break? Or is it a person who works hard all day and taps into their timeline in the evenings? Knowing this info is very important to your posting timing and frequency. Also, lastly, running a test. Run a test and then study the page insights data to find out how content is interacted with based on how much you post and when. So you can actually do a really good test. I've done this multiple times where you test different times that you post and you test different frequencies when you post during the day, and then you look at your insights and see where and what frequency is most effective. So those are the 3 steps that are shown at the bottom of the slide. If you're not sure how to get to your page insights, you just go to your page and you can kind of see the diagram there. You just go to post and insights, and then it should give you all the information on your peak periods and everything. And you can start posting based off of your most engaging times. Next slide, Nick. So use interactive content. So this is a new thing in the market that's driving engagement numbers sky high. Personalization is huge in today's world. Everyone wants things personalized to them before they convert. So this is a way to do it and give your clients a feeling that their voice is being heard. So what exactly is interactive content? So it's anything that a person can click on, swipe, or interact with. So things like quizzes, open-ended questions, surveys, contests, giveaways, polls, etc., can do wonders for your brand. So I know people probably see, let's just say for a fitness brand, what's your favorite workout? Just very open-ended questions for people to answer. So they feel like they can give you their answer and they'll interact with your page. And then in turn, it helps out with your rank because your page is being engaged with. At the very least, it increased the length of time, like I said, that users engage with you, and it'll help the algorithm rank your page better. Interactive content is part of the greater trend towards personalization. As I discussed, these days, everyone wants personalization. So when you take polls or you take quizzes, again, your clients feel like their voice is being heard in the decisions that you make for your business. Don't forget that it can also be used to collect data on user preferences, such as product and site improvements. So you can always ask your clients for feedback on how you guys are doing or how your studio is, and you can make adjustments based on the information that they give you. Next slide. Publish more videos and go live often. So Facebook averages over 10 million video views daily. Videos have 135% greater organic reach than photo posts. Everyone, I'm sure you've posted videos versus pictures on your pages, and you see that videos get a lot more engagement. That's simply because Facebook wants to compete with the other video brands like YouTube. They want to become the premier video platform. So they treat your videos like gold. So pictures are great, but videos just do a lot better. And going live often is even better. They reward that even higher than just regular videos. So if you're in your studio at a fitness studio, if you go live during a class, show exactly what the live action looks like, or if you do a studio walkthrough while on live, it just creates more engagement opportunities. People comment in 10 times more on live videos than anything else. So going live and publishing more videos will definitely help your rank as well. Next slide. Blogging Tripwire. So this is one of my favorite ones. So what is a Tripwire? We can start there. It's an irresistible low price or free offer that sole responsible purpose is to convert an audience into customers. So what a Tripwire basically is for clients that, let's say you have a free class as your intro offer, and the client is not really interested in that yet because they may not know your brand. It may not seem like value to them. So What you can do is you can write simple blogs on, let's just say Pilates, for instance, the benefits of Pilates. People are more tuned to look at a blog before they're actually to go into a Pilates studio. So once you get them on your website and they understand the benefits of Pilates, you now have them in your remarketing list. You now have them most likely liking your page, and you've provided free value to them. So they may respond to some of your emails that are telling them to try this free class because they now know all the benefits of it. So the word Tripwire is basically them tripping over a super low hanging fruit offer to kind of get them in your customer list and to kind of move forward and get a little bit more comfortable with your brand before they make any decisions or they decide to shop with you. Next slide. So finding micro influencers and brand ambassadors. So this is one that works really, really well. So seek local social media influencers specific to your industry. Ensure, this is a huge one, ensure that they are micro and not macro. So about 10,000 to 50,000 followers. Once you get over the 50,000 follower mark, they tend to get expensive and want more so of a salary or a payout more so than a trade out. You want to ensure that their brand values align with your brand values. So you want to make sure you're partnering with the person that you guys share the same values and they're going to represent your brand in the right light. Work out some form of trade out. So if it's a free membership, if it's a discounted membership, or if it's a pay per referral, you could work out something like that with them in exchange for them posting to their followers. They should post regularly to their page promoting the current offer. And also they should you should instruct them to word it as they're gifting something to their followers. So for instance, the guy in the picture is a business that I had previously. It was a meal prep company, and he had about 15,000 followers, and he would post pictures like this and he would offer 10% off to whoever was his followers. And ever since we worked with him, our sales like tripled just by working with him in the Atlanta market. So this is a very huge thing to do in marketing and an easy way to get in front of people that you may not normally get in front of. And the easiest ways on how to find those micro influencers in your market, you can simply post that you're looking for people and they can apply. You can search the local fitness hashtags on Instagram or Facebook, and that people's pages will pop up and you can look through and vet them out. Or you can even screen interest in clients. Chances are, if you have a client that signs up and they have a great personality, a bubbling personality, they work out or whatever your brand is, they do that a lot. Chances are they have a pretty good social media following and they're already interested in your product. So that's an easy trade out that you can make happen. So next slide. And then lastly, and most importantly, once you go through all the other steps and you get the leads, it's very, very important to segment your customer list, simply because you want to send the correct message to the client. This kind of goes back to the first slide that I talked about the least amount of clicks to get to the conversion. So if, let's say you have a person that signs up for 50% off their first eyelash appointment, and then a different person that signed up for a free consultation. You want to have those people in those specific customer lists. So when you send out that messaging, it's not just a general message. So these are some really cool facts about the difference in using customer list segmentation and just using a huge general list. So personalized emails improve click-through rates by 14% and conversion rates by 10%. Personalized emails deliver 6 times higher transaction rates. 81% of online shoppers who receive emails based on previous shopping habits were at least somewhat likely to make a purchase as a result of targeted email. 77% of ROI comes from segmented, targeted, and triggered campaigns. Personalized emails improve click-through rates by 14%. I'm sorry, I already said that. And the same thing for that last one. So next slide, Nick. This is just kind of a summary of everything that I've discussed. So the first one was using long tail keywords in your descriptions, just making in your descriptions and posts, just making sure you're using those words and queries that you think that your clients would look up when they're trying to find a page that does what you do. Get your posting time and frequency right. So this is, again, just look at your insights and see when your followers are online and post during that time. Using interactive content is just using the polls or open-ended questions to get them to engage with your page. Publish more videos and go live often, obviously, because Facebook rewards you for more videos. Using blogging Tripwire for people who may not be comfortable yet with taking your initial entry barrier offer, and you may want to massage that lead a little bit more. Find micro influencers and brand ambassadors. Those are the people that you create trade outs with, that they can share your offer with their followers. And then lastly, using customer list segmentation. So once all the leads come in, putting them in their own bucket so you can send them personalized messages. And we talked about those cool facts on how that works. And that's all I got. Hope that was of value to you guys. And I appreciate the time. Back to you,
Thank
Nick.
you. Hey, thank you, Kevin. That was super informative. And we just had a question in the chat if copy of these slides can be sent out, and they can. And we also will send out a recording of the entire webinar as well. And now I would like to introduce Beth Boley, Director of Franchisee Success at Franchise Ramp, and Sarah Milios, owner of CycleBar Flagstaff. Sarah lives in the beautiful mountain town, Flagstaff, Arizona, and co-owns CycleBar, which is premium indoor cycling, with her husband, Greg. Sarah has two boys, Nate 12 and Ben 10, that are currently at home doing virtual school. Sarah has taught middle school science for 20 years, then ventured into education consulting, specializing in English language learners. She traveled to Utah, California, and Texas doing interactive workshops in various urban school districts. Currently, she is on a sabbatical from Flagstaff USD to get CycleBar up and spinning. She's originally from East Texas, loves family trips to the beach, and enjoys podcasts from Gary Vee, Jasmine Star, and Oprah Super Soul. Currently binging Cobra Kai and The Real Housewives. Beth, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nick. I've had the pleasure of working with Sarah for about the last 10 months now. I first met Sarah when she started pre-sale brand new at CycleBar back in April. This was right when all of the first round of COVID closures started. It has been so much fun sharing the roller coaster ride of pre-sale during COVID, multiple closures in Arizona, kids at home, virtual learning, and her selling tons of memberships. The thing that I admire the most in working with Sarah is her positive attitude and willingness to continue learning. Every time we get on a meeting, she's always telling me about a new podcast she just listened to and what she has learned. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Let's get started by you sharing a little bit of background on how you go from teacher to CycleBar franchisee owner.
I think it started with, after teaching for 20 years, I was looking for something a little different or a new challenge. And I combined that with, I was also looking for a low impact exercise that was efficient in burning calories. I've rolled my ankles so many times with running that the doctor has prescribed that I switch altogether and not run anymore. So that was a very depressing day for me. But I don't have time to walk a neighborhood for 2 hours to burn 300 calories. So I stumbled across spin class and I went to a soul cycle class, and then started really, was investigating after that one class, and then found CycleBar, the franchise, and just started messaging them through email, asking questions. And before I knew it, I was going to their discovery day. And here I am opening a CycleBar. So I have really no business background whatsoever. Yay.
I love it. That's awesome. So really you're letting your passion lead you down the business journey.
Yes.
Very cool.
I believe in the product for sure.
Yep. I love that. That's so important. So let's chat about your pre-sale. So you start pre-sale in April, right in the midst of a million things going on. What was that like?
It was kind of scary, to be honest with you. I mean, to venture into a new profession that I really had to be coached all virtually from the corporate team. You know, they couldn't fly out to help me at all. So it was all virtual. On top of that, I was still teaching, and I had to finish my my year with my fourth graders. But you know, I think if you really believe in the product, and when you're calling people on the phone, that you can get that expressed through the phone and let them express their worries and their concerns. But all in all, I feel like our volume of membership sales was lower than possibly before COVID. But we finished our pre-sale with 180 members, like unlimited memberships.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that was pretty good with COVID.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. I know there were a lot of challenges in it. Did you work a lot of the leads yourself? What was the setup within your business?
I hired a GM part-time to help with the lead sales. I'm sorry, the phone is ringing in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. So he was not experienced either, but I just felt like, oh, I can train anyone. I can teach anyone how to do this, how to talk on the phone, and how to overcome objections. And I realized 3 to 4 months into it that some people aren't cut out for sales, and I had to let him go. So we were getting so close to our soft opening that I just took on the role as general manager.
Yep,
Should we
I
hear your
remember.
Pardon me?
Sorry, I had to hop in there. Sarah, should we have you answer the phone and we can hear your role play?
Oh my gosh. They called twice, so they might not be very happy. I feel
180 members is fantastic in pre-sale, you know, during COVID and for your brand, you know, to give others context for your brand, for being COVID, and then just also you're in Flagstaff, Arizona, correct? A smaller market. So that's just phenomenal. So congratulations.
Yeah, the population's about 70,000. It's a college town. Yeah, so I just had to let people feel comfortable asking all their questions, you know, answering all their questions, I should say. And it took, you know, several points of contact for them to feel comfortable signing up.
Definitely. What has life been like now that the studio's open?
Good. I would say corporate kind of suggested, you know, because I sold memberships back in April and we didn't open until October. And so corporate had kind of suggested, hey, get in touch with all of those members before you soft open in October, because a lot of times people forget that they signed up. And so I think that was a good thing to do. So I reached out to all of the members through texting and emailing and having them come in and like, let's update your credit card information, because that changes from April and May until October, updating their phone number, their email, their address, and then giving and letting that be an opportunity to come see the studio, maybe provide wine and appetizers, just a way to make those members that signed on so early to feel special, love up on them kind of thing.
Yep, I love that. What a great idea. Are you still as active in the business? What does your role look like now that you have officially opened?
I am able to pull away a little bit. I do like to keep the lights on during regular business hours. And I know some cycle bars, they go dark between classes. I notice other athletic studios in our neighborhood, like not Orange Theory, but like Pure Bar, they go dark. So I tend to, and plus we're in COVID and our minimum wage just went up. So I am staying in the studio between classes so that I can answer phones, change class times. So I guess you could say I'm the general manager But I have hired 2 assistant managers as well to help with opening, because we open as early as 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we have classes going as late as 7 p.m. So I generally work in studio between 9 and 4.
I love that. With COVID, you're definitely limited on what you can do in the community. How have you been able to still build a great community during this time?
Kevin mentioned some great ideas. I have right now a little bit over 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I've never been like, oh, we got to get more and more followers, but like really engage with those followers by asking questions, doing polls, like through stories. We did a lot of giveaways leading up through pre-sales, and even now we do a lot of giveaways. But we'll partner with other businesses and tag them, like Grimaldi's Pizzeria, or like I try to really love up and support the neighboring businesses in our shopping center. So we'll do a giveaway at least once a month. Sometimes that business will go half and half on the gift card, let's say, that we're going to give away to our followers on Instagram, Facebook, or sometimes I will just go into my own pocket and purchase that gift card, and knowing that this mentality of give will eventually, I'll start to see that return on investment by supporting these local restaurants that are in our shopping center, or the local, like we're doing one next week with Board and Brush, and it's like a crafting place, and they've really been hurting because people just aren't getting together at all. So it'll all be socially distanced and safe, but just supporting other businesses. And I think our followers like that. I don't promote that that's what we're doing. Like we're not trying to pat ourselves on our backs, but doing those giveaways and any sort of engagement with our followers really has helped with building that community. And then we do a little bit of advertising on the radio, our local country radio station. And we're doing a country themed ride tonight with the radio station, and doing little giveaways through that. It's called Denim and Diamonds. So if you dress in theme, you'll get an extra raffle ticket. And we do a little bit of advertising in a local country club neighborhood magazine. And it's both of those. They're hard to measure the return on investment, honestly, but it was a way just to try different avenues to get our name out.
Yep, different ways to get in front of people. So every time I talk to Sarah, she's always talking about her followers on Facebook and Instagram, and her staff is always trying to get her to create new TikTok videos to put up. And so she definitely does a great job interacting organically on all of her posts. But Sarah, what would you say the biggest lesson you've learned through this experience has been?
I think the biggest lesson, and I think it helps that I'm a little bit older too, is to be positive. I mean, you kind of mentioned that. I don't think I'm necessarily always a positive person, but like we had a competitor gym call the police on us, saying that we're not wearing masks like we're supposed to. And that resulted in the police arriving during our first week of opening. And it was really disappointing, but I just had to kind of just turn that whole thing around and just remember to be positive and keep fighting, keep clawing your way to the top. We all have a down day, and that's normal, but you've got to be able to pick yourself back up and just use every situation as a learning moment, not let that go to waste. So when the police officer arrived, I asked a million questions and got information and just used that to my benefit. And then, you could then put a post out the next day about how the Department of Health has come to visit and we got A+, check plus, and we're so excited to welcome you into this. I don't know, you could just play it to your advantage, but not to go low and start doing that same behavior with other businesses. Like, just remain positive.
That's so great. I love how you turn a negative situation into a positive one. That's really nice to hear. Last and final question. What advice would you give to a new franchisee just starting out?
Because we're still in the pandemic, I would say keep with Franchise Ramp. And I would also get a college student. If you are not savvy with Instagram, Facebook, hire this person for 10 hours a week, create categories that you want them to hit each, like if you look at the grid, like of Instagram, like 9 photos, have 9 different categories that you want that person to create: images, videos, as Kevin mentioned. Like we do one like behind the scenes, motivational, sales or products, our team, our motivation or our why, our purpose. We have 8 different categories. Seasonal is also one. And then kind of stick with that, because people don't want to look at your Instagram or your Facebook and it's all about sales. Like you're trying to sell them a membership. Here's a promo, use this promo code. They'll just scroll right through it. So they want it to be educational. They want it to be entertaining. And they want to feel like if they leave a comment that you're going to comment quickly, and not just with like an emoji, but with 3 or 4 words at least when you reply back to them. So I would say get someone that is savvy in Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or you need to do a deep dive and figure it out yourself, which I've had to do. But I also have a college student that's helping me. Oh.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Beth. That was amazing. We are going to get the Q&A started. First off, we have an incredibly important question for Sarah. Are you a fan of Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai? Who are you rooting for without giving anything away?
I'm Team Johnny. I love Johnny.
Team Johnny? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to dig into these questions. We have one from Devin who asked, will participants automatically get a link to review this information at a later time, or does that need to be requested? Kevin is going to answer that question live for us.
Yes, so we can provide the slides for you. Nick, I don't know if I think we'll send out a recap of like the recording, I believe, and we can attach the slides to that as well.
Absolutely. And there was another question just about a calendar for posting from Chris Smith. So I'm going to share a good example of that in the chat right now. And Hootsuite and Sprout Social are also considered to be top tier platforms for that too. And they have great free options that you can get started with. We had a question that I think Pete already answered in the chat, but maybe could expand on it a little bit. From Morris, what were the 3 things that Peter said about the assets?
Yeah, so we, as franchisees, we tend to look at our assets as like the hard assets, the money and the leasehold improvements and the fixtures, which are all assets. But I like to sort of expand that definition a little bit and include 2 other types. So human capital assets. So your people are an asset. All of us are in service-based businesses on here, and so our people are our product, and so they are assets, and developing them, improving them, and potentially replacing them with better assets is a key piece of the business. And then prospecting customer assets. So your customer list is an asset, because for most of us it provides recurring revenue. But for even like the Great Clips franchisee that's not recurring revenue, but you have enough customers that come repeatedly where there's that baked in revenue stream. And so customers are an asset, in addition to just your prospect list. Is an asset, because you can continue to market to them and convert that asset into actual income as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. And we have a couple more questions for Sarah, but she's fielding a call right now, which is awesome. Beth, maybe you can talk about how long Sarah's pre-sale was.
Yeah, definitely. We started the very probably first or second week in April, and she did not soft open until the end of October. So it was a little bit longer than anticipated, just with COVID and different things getting slowed down.
Okay, awesome. And someone else asked for Sarah's contact info for some follow-up questions, and she's included it in the chat here. Sarah.milios@cyclebar.com. And we have another question of, can you explain the different points of contact that you use to acquire the member? Sarah, sorry for putting you on the hot seat here after a great presentation. Lori did have one question about the different points of contact that you use to acquire your members.
Oh, okay. We would phone call, text, email. Those were the three main ones. We also would do little pop-ups in front of our studio. So that could be person to person. And then Instagram, you could DM. So whenever we got a new follower on Instagram or Facebook, either me or my social media person, we would say, thank you so much for following us. And then we would end with a question saying something like, have you ever done indoor cycling before? And just any way to like just start to get qualifying questions answered so you know more about that person. And so maybe that's too much information, sorry. But so Instagramming or Facebook private messaging, doing pop-ups in front of your studio, maybe like while it's being built, which was what we did. Email, text, phone calling.
That is awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. Thank you to Kevin, Peter, and Beth as well, and to all of you for joining us today. We already can't wait to see you next time, and we look forward to working with you to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.